Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and today I have in front of us the Carcass Virus Cult Terrorizers box. Yes, it's the box with Bonner, Flesher, and Skinner. Ooh, hey fellas. So these are from HiTech Miniatures, which is a miniature manufacturer out of Poland, I believe. Somewhere in Eastern Europe. Pretty sure it's in Poland because I've ordered from them before. And these are their NOT Obliterators. And you get 3 to a box, and it's going to require some serious resin cutting. One thing that needs to be said about HiTech Minis models is they are quite blinged out. They're pretty similar in style to Cyborg, if you're familiar with their models. But to me, there's just a whole lot more going on with the HiTech stuff. And they also tend to require a lot more work. Like I said, it's just, we're going to have some massive cutting going on to get these pieces off. And I don't know if that's actually going to be seen or not. If that's supposed to be flesh. I guess so. I always like all the little doodads and stuff all over their armor. Sometimes I feel like I'm alone in that enjoyment, but whatever. I don't care. Heads all over the place. I don't know what these canisters are. They look like milk jugs. They look like they want to go back there. Do they want to get attached to the guns themselves, maybe? Which guy is this? I think I am looking at Skinner. With a name like Skinner, you'd think he'd have some implements for skinning people, but he really doesn't. Okay. And he's got a rather boring 40mm base. That's actually quite shocking because usually HiTech models have very fancy, gigantic bases. But he seems to be a bit subdued. So he does have a cool tactical rock to stand on. Funny thing is, I've had these since before the actual Obliterator models were released in the Shadow Spear box. And I just never got around to them. And now that I've actually started painting my Shadow Spear Obliterators, I was like, maybe I should get these guys out and finally do them right. Alright, let's take a look at this guy's face. Very nurgly, much plague. Actually, I like his face. A lot of wiring. So he's got a Space Wolf head on his back. How appropriate. Gun fingers. Very chaosy. I have no idea how I'm going to paint this all up. Fleshy. The gun finger. That would be Bonner. Are you Sarah Bonner? Sorry. So, is this, what's his name? Flesher. I wanted to say Turner. Jake. So our third Terrorizer. Some pipes and a vent. He's got a fan and wire sticking out of a pretty long-haired metalhead's head. What do these guns remind me of? I don't know. For some reason, they give me the vibe of like early 90s X-Men comics. There was a dude that could make guns with his hands. That's what they're reminding me of. I don't know. But you know what? I do know I'm going to go ahead and try to get these guys all built up. And he's got all these little doodads. I have no idea where those are going to go. It's got some spots for them. I don't know. Man, I have no freaking clue. All right. Well, fingers crossed I can figure this out. Wish me luck, folks. We're going in. And here we have our Terrorizers all finished. So I got to double check because the names. Where is, so, Flesher, and Skinner, and Bonner. So, I have no idea how all their little doohickeys were supposed to go, so I just kind of glued all of their ammo clips and tubes just haphazardly, and I'm going to hope for the best, because there's really no rhyme or reason. I mean, they're just, you know, gross mutations as it is. So I don't think it's going to be a big issue if they have things just, especially this guy's just got like tubes all over him, Skinner. So How do they stack up size-wise? Because in my experience, HiTech Miniatures tend to be a little bit big. And obviously, I guess it's about the right scale. But, how are they going to scale with an actual obliterator? Well, I went ahead and grabbed some. So I think actually they scale pretty decently. Now, the Obliterator, this is obviously the newer one, not the old crappy fine cast or metal ones. I'm not a big fan of those at all. But they do scale pretty decently with the actual Obliterator models. So if you're worried about them kind of just looking out of place, I don't think so, other than the style. Now, obviously, the newer Obliterators are definitely in line with a lot of the modern Chaos Marines, post-Shadow Smear, and, Black Legion style. So these guys are a lot more Nurgle-y to me. They scream Nurgle with all of just the fleshy tones going on with their limbs and how it's just like that rampant growth. Now, personally, I'd rather have a lot of spikes and stuff sticking out of them as well. Might have to add some later on. But overall, a decent kit, and I really can't complain about the price because I got them for a steal. So, once they're painted up, I think they'll look pretty good, and they should fit in pretty nicely. If you're ever interested, HiTech Miniatures does make a lot of similarly sized and styled models, and they have them for just about every Space Marine faction at this point. And I gotta say, these are probably older models in their range that are still hand sculpted. A lot of their newer stuff is actually getting CG rendered, but, they have a lot of trappings that are very similar in style. So if you like the look, definitely give a check to their webpage, and I'll put a link down below in the description. With that said, this is High Lord Tamberling with Obscurities and Miniatures, and thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.